New numbers from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation show murder rates are up across the state and even higher in Colorado Springs.
The numbers compare 2019 with 2020. KRDO News Channel 13 Sydney Stell is live in Colorado Springs with details on this concerning climb. Sydney.
One of the big numbers that stands out is the increase in homicides all across the state, but that number is even more dramatic right here in Colorado Springs. The city saw more homicides last year than ever before.
Bridget Kenner, Carl Thompson, Tammy Dunn. These are just 3 of the 39 victims of homicide in Colorado Springs in 2020.
I want to be very careful when we talk about this. We don't get lost in numbers and fail to realize this. Each one of these as an individual has lost their life.
And that list of victims rising much too fast. A new Colorado Bureau of Investigation report shows that across the state, 227 people lost their lives to homicide in 2019. That number jumped to 292 last year, a 28% increase. But Colorado Springs saw an even more concerning jump, going from 24 to 39, a 62% increase. Lieutenant Jim Sokolik with Colorado Springs Police says it's largely because 2019 was an outlier, with fewer people dying from homicide than average. But as for the jump in 2020, it's hard for police to figure out why.
But we can't point to one factor and say this is it. What I can tell you is obviously we do see an increase in the number of domestic violence related homicides in 2020. We did see that.
Which leads to the question, with more people staying at home and domestic violence victims potentially stuck with their abusers, is this rise in homicides related to the pandemic? Lieutenant Sokolik isn't ready to say.
Well, I don't have empirical proof that that's the case. So I'm very hesitant to even say that. That's a question that we're asked frequently. But I also say 2020 had a lot of very unusual things occurring during that time, or very significant social changes, had a lot of different things.
When I asked Lieutenant Sokolik about the numbers so far this year, he said as of right now, the Springs has fewer homicides than they did at this time last year. Live in Colorado Springs, I'm Sydney Stell, KRDO News Channel 13.